Hi everyone, good evening. Hello. Uh, Welcome to COE's Pro Bono Weekend webinar demonstrate. Today we are going to witness PNL dashboard in Power BI delivered by Elen. And in the recent times, since 2023, we have seen many sessions which have been delivered by Elen regarding the Power BI and tips and tricks of Excel and the Power Query tools and how one can transform the data from into meaningful insights in Excel and as well as in Power BI. So today we are going to witness Ellen demonstrating a P&L dashboard in Power BI. Welcome, Ellen, and welcome everyone to the COE session. Over to you.
Right. So thank you so much, Prem Sai, for your introduction and for your time. And my dear friends, if you can hear me, just type number one in the chat box. If you look here carefully in the chat box, I got shared the file. Okay. But my suggestion is you'll see what I'm doing, then I will share to you. So my dear friends, can you type number one if you can see the screen? And can you type, yeah, number one if you can see the screen and if you can hear me. Okay, so today's data, like what Prem Sai stated, is PNL. But before we deep dive to PNL, we need to actually show to you what is the report looks like. So right now, this is the report whereby we do have a budget. Okay, because some case studies is very complicated in the sense that they don't have a common column. If you look over here, we have a dedicated expenses. Expenses, okay, when Prem Sai said the word just on PNL, PNL means profit and loss statement. So in this case, we look thoroughly on the expenses because in order to derive the profit, we need to actually calculate the expenses first. So over here, in this particular file, we do have budget and also actual. So budget file, of course, in the real working world, we have a lot. But here I'm going to show a simple one. So we have a budget like client meals, flight ticket, hotel stay, local transport. And if you look here carefully, we have 2023, 2024, 2025 until the end. So basically what happened is we actually have a budget from 2023 up to 2025. So my dear friends, can you type number two if you can see this file over here? I got share in the chat box, but don't worry, I'll show you again how I can actually prepare this. I will prepare this in the dashboard. So can you type number two if you can see this file? Okay, so this file we have 2025, 2024, 2023. So if you look here carefully, my dear friends, this report is a budget report. Now the next thing I'm going to go to the actual report. So if you look carefully in the actual report, we have the actual expenses. So if you notice carefully, even though it has the actual expenses, but there is no proper common column. When it comes to data modeling, we need to make sure that there is at least a common column. But my dear friends, if you look here carefully, my dear friends, over here, we have budget and we have actual, but we don't have a common column. So in this case, what we'll do is, we will try to import the data to the Power BI, and from there, we'll try to create a common column, and eventually, we'll prepare a dashboard. So my dear friends, let's get started. So first thing is, I just press the Power BI, and I go to import data from Excel. You will notice that a box will appear. So you need to know where you save your file. In this case, I save in my downloads under 23rd August 2025 COE file. I press here and I'm going to press open. So once I press open, you will notice that a box will appear. Okay. So in this case, we will use Power Query and also we will use data modeling. So first thing is I'm going to tick these two boxes. And if you press load, it will automatically load to the Power BI. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to press transform data so that the data will be navigated to Power Query Editor. But before I proceed, my dear friends, can you see here this word? The data in the preview has been truncated due to size limit. If you can see this, okay, if you can see this, can you type number two in the chat box? Meanwhile, Sumit, how to freeze pane? Okay, I'll show you. To freeze pane is basically you go to view, you go to freeze pane and click freeze. Okay. In the meantime, my dear friends, can you see this? If you can see this, can you type number two in the chat box? Okay, thank you so much for your cooperation. I really appreciate that. Okay, what does it mean is sometimes if your data size is too full, then we got so many rows, so many columns, then it will appear like this. In the real working world, it will appear like this. You don't have to worry. what you need to go is you need to go to transform data. When you go to transform data, it will be navigated to Power Query Editor. Okay, Power Query Editor. And then you will notice it is in Power Query Editor whereby you will do the data transformation. You see here carefully, the problem with this data is it's very messy. Why? We have one column for expenses, the category, subcategory, GL items, 2023, January, branch. So now what I want to do is, first thing is, I will try to click on transpose. You need to know Power Query. Power Query is a data transformation tool in Power BI. I go to transform, I click transpose. And you will notice over here, when I transpose, it will change the orientation, it will change the layout. So my dear friends, can you type number 3 if you notice the difference? Okay, let me repeat one more time. What happened is, this is the original data source. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to go to transform and transpose. Okay, so if you look here carefully, there is none. Okay, whenever your Excel file has blank, that means if just say I go here, you look here carefully, we have null, null, null. What does it means? In Excel, whenever there is a blank cell, it means the Power Query will show us it is none. So what I'm going to do is, I will go to transpose. So what we do is, whenever we have null, we can actually fill down. So I'm going to select this, right click and fill down. So when I press fill down, automatically the data will fill down. So here we'll have, like you see here, we will have here 2023, 2024, 2025. So it's easy for us to make a slicer and so on. So now we have this. Next thing is what I want to do is, for temporary basis, I want to select this first three column, column 1, column 2, column 3. And what I'm going to do is, I'm going to go to transform and merge column. Why I merge column? Because for temporary basis, I want to actually merge first. Merge column, and a box will appear. So the separator here, I'm going to choose like equal sign. Later we will split. Okay, I'm going to click here equal sign and I'm going to press here OK. So the purpose is to combine, and then at the last point we will split later. So now I go to transpose. So now it will transpose again, because if you see here, why you may ask me, why do I merge column? Because initially we have 2023 January branch A. All you see here in 3 separate columns. But now when I transpose, all this is appear in one column. And then now what I can do is, I can go to use first row as header. So it will appear as the first row. And then I select these first 4 columns, right click, unpivot other column. And just like that, now you notice here we have these expenses. Here we have the OPEX, operating expenses category, the subcategory, the GL, general ledger or cost element. And this column, since it's combined, we can split the column. So go to split by delimiter. And then after that, what we do is we press OK. So now we notice the data is clean. Clean means here we have a proper database. Because in your Excel file, it's a bit messy. Okay, it's a bit messy because you have so many information. But right now, we can actually put this and load to Power BI. But before I load to Power BI, I need to clean again. Like this one here, all is expenses. So I don't really need this column, not necessary. I'm going to click this. Okay, this one here, I'll rename as OPEX. OPEX means operating expenses. So when you want to derive your P&L, profit and loss, you need to know the OPEX first. Okay, revenue, of course, eventually OPEX. Here is the subcategory. And okay, let me just go to the next part. And over here, I want to put here GL, or you want to name it cost element. It's the same thing. In SAP, it will be appear as cost element. In accounting, we use the word general ledger, GL. This one, we have all the years. So I'm going to put here years. This one will be the months. Here we have the subsidiary or branches. In the real working world, it can be division, department, branches, subsidiary. So I'm going to write here branch, like branch A and branch B and so on. And over here is the amount. So I'll just put here as whole number. So this will be your amount. So right now, we do have a budget database. Next thing is actual. You see here, actual is all okay. But the thing is, we don't have a common column. So what we need to do is, we go to add column. Make sure you click the date column. Add column. We click over here, date. First thing is, I will try to choose the month, name of month. Okay, so that the last column over here shows the month. And then what did that? I'll just go to the date column, add column. Okay, I choose here date. My dear friends, can you type number 4 if you can see this? So you may ask me, what is the intention of doing this? We select the date column because we want to actually show it as a year and so on. Later you'll understand why I'm doing this. So I select the date column, I show the year, so it will show me the year. So over here we have the month name and the year. And then after that, I select the date column, I go here, then I choose here quarter and quarter of the year. So basically here we have the month name, the year and quarter. And this column not necessary, column 12, because it's null and blank, not necessary. You can actually delete this. Okay. So now this is the actual data, because some company, the human resource, they need to track the actual claims versus the budget. So here is the budget, but this actual claim we have by employees, all this Linda and so on. Okay. So here we have this data. So we have actual, we have budget. Now what I will do is I will try to create a dummy table one more time. Right click and I'll just press here. I'll go and press duplicate. Okay. So duplicate here. What I want to do is this one, I'll just put here months. Okay. And then I'll just duplicate here one more time. Duplicate. This one, I put here quarter. Okay. Quarter. And then after that, what I'll do is I'll duplicate one more time. This one I put here because I want to make a many to one relationship. Okay, you can do many to many, but sometimes I prefer many to one. Later I'll show you what does it means. So what I'll do is I only want the months column to appear. So I go to home, I choose column. Over here we have choose column. Click the choose column. A box will appear. So this one is months. So I only want the month name to appear. And I press OK. So now this is the months, but what I want is I want to remove duplicate. So click here and remove duplicates. Once I remove duplicates, so right now we have the months from January up to December. And the problem is, if you notice, can you see here ABC? If you can see the format ABC, can you type number 5 in the chat box, my dear friends? Okay, what is ABC? ABC means, if you look here carefully, actual means, you see here we have a date icon, here we have ABC, ABC, ABC. If they say your data has numbers, that means it will appear as a number format. But just in this case, your months appear in a text format. That's why it has ABC. So what I'll do is, I'll go to add column and I click from index. The purpose is, okay, you may ask me why I'm doing this. Because when you load to Power BI, the data will not sort properly. For example, over here, if just say I sort it ascending, it will sort April, August. Because when you talk about a date performance, month on month performance, you are comparing January, February, March, April. You won't compare April, August. This is not how we compare. We are not living in a different multiverse. In this universe, what we do is we have months from January up to December. The purpose of index is to show that this is the sequence. You want to start from 0, you want to start from 1, can. Up to you. If you don't want to start from 0, you want to start from 1 also can. It's not a significant issue. Okay, you can change here 1, up to you. So I'm going to let it be like this. I'm going to do the same thing. I go to home, choose column. So this is quarter. So I'll just select here quarter and I press OK. So we have so many quarters. So what I'm going to do is remove and I'm going to select on remove duplicates. So here we have quarter 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to do the same thing here. Choose column and then I will unselect all these. I'll choose the year. I press OK. And then after that here, I want to remove duplicates. So we have the year. So right now, when you press close and load, you will see there is a connection between the table. Because like I mentioned earlier, sometimes if we have a common column, we can do Power Query, merge query, we can do even data modeling. But this case, if you see here this case study, the two tables, even though it's related, but doesn't have a proper common column. Yes, it has January over here, but here we have the dates. So now what I want to do is, I want to go to close and apply. Once I press close and apply, you will notice that it will automatically load the data to Power BI and eventually over here, it will detect the relationship. Some columns it won't detect, but eventually it will detect the relationships and so on. Okay, so it's loading and there you go. So now if just say I go to model view, what you'll notice over here is there is a relationship. So I'm going to put the actual over here Okay, let me just remove all this. So the budget is over here. We have months, we have quarter, we have year. Okay, so if you notice for months, there is a connection between month name and month name, but there is no connection for this month and this data over here. Okay, there is no connection. If you notice carefully, here we have months, here we have month name. The spelling is different. So regardless, the spelling is different, we can actually manually connect the data. I use my mouse, I click over here, I drag the month name and put over here. So automatically a box will appear, one to many relationship, because here we have one, here we have many, we press save. So automatically you will notice that a relationship has been formed. So here we have actual, we have one for month, one for quarter, and also one for year. So we have a relationship over here. So if you look here carefully, my dear friends, you see here in this budget table, we do have the year and we also have the months. Okay, we have like this. So this is actually our data. What you can do from here is you can actually build a visual. Okay, you can actually build a visual. So let me just go to the report view and just let me click a simple visual, just me slicer, and I go to the months, I click here month name. So even though when you click the month name, you will notice that it will sort the data in an alphabetical order. So what you can do is you can click the month name over here. Can you see here? Is it sorted in alphabetical order? If you can see, can you type number 6 in the chat box? Why? Because your month name is in an alphabet format. It's in a text format. So what you need to do is you need to select your month name and then you go to sort column. Okay, can you all see this? Maybe can you type number 6 if you can see sort by column? Why I'm doing this, my dear friends? Because I actually, thank you Ashura for typing number 6, because I want to sort by index. So when I sort by index, eventually you'll notice now it's in a proper format. Okay, so I go to tile, I go to slicer settings, I go here and I change to tiles. When I change here, so now it looks in a proper format. Okay, up to you, you want to change in any format you want. So this is the data. I want to copy and paste so that we have another slicer. This time I unselect the month name, I select the year. Okay, if you want the quarter also can, but I just want to do for this for a while. Okay, this one over here, up to you. You want to change? Maybe I just put in this format. Okay, so here we have. So here we have the months, here we have the year. Next, what you can do is you can make a comparison between budget and also actual. So what you do is you click on this visual over here, clustered column chart. I tick on the budget value. So we have the budget. And what I do is I will also go to the actual and tick on the actual value. That means actual over here means is the RM. Okay, this is the data. So now what I want to do is, if just say I were to click on the date, okay. When I click on the date, of course, just say I put the date, okay, on the x-axis, it can't recognize. Why it can't recognize? Because the data here, we have so many data, because so many for the value, because in for the budget, there's no connection. So what we can do is, maybe I'll just remove the date and just say I were to select the months, okay. So if just say I were to select the month name over here, you will notice there is a relationship and you can play around like 2023, 2024, 2025. So we can actually understand the data. You may ask me, Ellen, why August, September, October, November, December, no data? Let's have a look. You see here, when I just go to my data, this is the actual expenses. So just say I expand over here and I expand the 2025. We have January, February, March, April, May, June, July. Why? This is the actual report. Currently, we are on what month? We are on August. So the report haven't produced yet. So that is why you don't have August, you don't have September, October, November, December. So my dear friends, can you get it? So when you look at 2023, we can see the pattern. We can understand that what's the data. And over here, because when the word sum of value and actual you can't understand, what you can do is you can put here, this is budget and this is, let me just rename this one is actual. We can rename this. Okay, so this is how the data, and this one over here by months. So you can just play around. So September, you can see this is a September data and so on. So my dear friends, do you understand? If you understand, can you type yes in the chat box? So this is by the comparison of 2023. So what we are doing is we are making a connection between two tables that doesn't have a common column. Okay, doesn't have a common column. And what I want to show is I will also show you DEX. So what we can do is we can just click here, click a cut, and then after that I just put here a value for budget. So the budget here is 1 million in 2025. I need to just go to format your visual, category layout. I just put here as none. So we have about 135. So I'm going to change the name. I don't want the name sum of value. I want to put here budget. Okay, so this is budget. Then I'm going to control C, control V. So this is budget. This one here, I'm going to unselect the budget. I'm going to select the value. So over here, this one over here, this is budget. This thing over here is the actual. So I'm going to double click. I'm going to put here actual. Okay. Then what you want to do is you want to calculate the variance. So I'm going to use a DEX measure. Click on the new measure. And in accounting, there is a word called variance. Variance means is basically your budget minus actual. I cannot write like this. I need to put sum. So sum of your budget, okay, budget value minus with your, you must close bracket, then minus sum of actual. Okay, actual RM. Close bracket, enter. So once you have this, you will have a variance over here. So I'm going to copy and paste. So when I copy and paste and I just unselect the RM, select the variance, you will notice that it will show the difference. But this format is very hard for my manager to understand. I can actually click on the variance and click here to change to 1000 separator. But if I do this, I have to do one by one for every budget and actual. So you can go to the model view. Okay. So over here, if you notice, we have actual. So let me just expand this. Okay, we have the RM. Wait, let me just put here. So we have the RM. I press the control button. I select variance. I press the control button. I select value. So if you notice, I select all these. I go to properties and then I change to 1000 separator. Can you see this? If you can see this, can you type number 7 in the chat box, 1000 separator? So when I press 1000 separator, what happened is all those what I highlighted, it will become here a comma. Okay, it will become here a comma. So just see when I click 2024, we can understand that this variance. When just see I click here 2023, we can understand like this. And if just say you don't want the word negative, because in accounting, we don't put negative. If you study accounting, you study finance, you will notice the audited report will have a bracket. So you can go to model view. So you can click on this variance over here. Instead of, okay, click on the variance. So instead of just being a whole number, what you do is you can scroll down, you click on custom. Custom over here. So here, this one indicates a positive number. I put semicolon, close, open bracket, hashtag, comma, 0, close bracket. Okay. This one is, if just say positive, is normal. If negative means got bracket. I press enter. I go to my report view. You will notice it shows a negative number. And you can also try to understand whether it's overspend or underspend and so on. So when I click this, you will get the picture. Okay, so now let me just do one more. I'm going to press Ctrl C, Ctrl V. Okay, and this one, so I just, so I'm going to select all this. And I'm going to go to Format, Align, Distribute horizontally. Okay, so now it's distribute horizontally. I'm going to create another new measure. So this one, I want to put a status. So the status is, okay, if the variance is greater than 0, if the variance is greater than 0, then I want to put it as underspend. Otherwise, I want to put it as overspend. And then close bracket, enter. So now what happened is, I'm going to click it over here, unselect the variance, select status. So now you get this. And then you can change color. So I'm going to change all this color. Call out value, I'm going to put here white color. Category label also, I'm going to put here white color. And general, this is cosmetic. I want to go here, effects. I want to put here dark blue. Okay, so this is the data. Format painter, paint this. Format painter, paint this. So this is how you can show your data and so on. Okay, but what if just say I want to make a conditional formatting? Okay, because since if you see here in Excel, we do have conditional formatting. What is conditional formatting? I go to home, I click over here, we have conditional formatting. In Power BI problem is it's not straightforward. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show a DAX measure. Okay, I'm going to show you a DAX measure. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click here, new measure. This one I put here status flag. Okay, I'm going to use the word switch. Okay, and I'm going to write the word status because the name of this one is status. So status, comma, if they say it's overspend, I want it to put as 0. Overspend, I just put a dummy number 0. If they say underspend, I want to put it as 1. So if you can see this formula, can you type number 8 in the chat box? I'll copy this formula and I'll paste in the chat box so that everyone can look. Okay. So my dear friends, can you all see this? This formula over here? Okay, I've typed. Maybe you can say yes, or you can just type 8 in the chat box. Okay, so now this is the formula. So I'm going to just close bracket and press enter. Okay, so over here we have status flag. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on this overspan here. I go to general. I go to the effects. Over here we have the effects. We can do a conditional formatting. So I click over here and this one is rules correct. Okay, wait, let me change. Here is, okay, this one instead of text. Okay, what I'm going to do is all data, the actual, and our name is status flag. So this one is equal to, if they say is equal to 0, I want it to be red color. So I go to more colors. I choose here, wait, let me choose this color. Wait, let me just give me some time. I go to this red color. I choose this red color over here. Okay. Then I new rule because I put here if equal to 1. Okay, you can just put here 1 and this one I put here green color. So green color is over here and let me just put here. Okay, so we have green. Okay, so now what happened is it is overspent. Overspent, that's why red color. If I put here underspent, can you all see this, my friends? So we can actually use conditional formatting to show a status in your card. Okay, so did you learn something new? If it's something new for you, can you type yes in the chat box? Okay, so I think I got post this in one of the WhatsApp group. I can't remember which WhatsApp group on this particular thing. That means you click here, it is overspent. You can try the same magic over here, so can. Okay, you can try the same magic so that whatever is negative is overspent, whatever positive is green color. Okay, so this one, because when you start working, I don't know if you are currently working or seeking for a job and so on, some reports is not related. So that's why it's very common for you to see this data modeling and so on. So of course, Power BI is one big ocean and you have Power Query as well. It's also a 2 semester subject. So if you have any questions, you can ask me. Otherwise, we can finish earlier. Then maybe next week I can teach you what is the PNL. Today's class, we focus on OPEX. Next week class, we focus on PNL, the profit and loss. That case will be a little bit complicated, but I can make it easier for you. So if you have any question, feel free to ask. Any questions, my friends? If no questions, then we can finish earlier.
S- Hello, sir.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so if you can just share your all the videos link so that we can watch that as well.
Oh yeah, thank you, Sujata. Wait, just let me give me a moment. Right. I was reading this article. This is a famous gangster in Malaysia, but never mind. So thank you, Sujata. I'll just this one. Okay, so for a beginner, maybe what I'll suggest is because this one got DAX and so on, I'll click this, I will press share and copy and I'll put in the chat box. Okay, the file you can ask me if you don't have the file, but I think over here got the file. Wait, let me just over here we do have the file. Can you see this? If you can't access, let me know. I've included that as well. So Sujata, did I answer your question? You can say yes, or you can just type yes, it's okay.
Yeah, yes, sir. Thank you.
All right. If no questions, then we can finish earlier. Then see you when I see you. Take care and enjoy your Saturday.
Thank you so much, Alan. Thank you.
All right.